And so, I will have to tell you that this is not my actual studio. It's not like I have giant folders or blackboards or whiteboards that cover up a bunch of stuff. This is my basement. Now, for this, you're gonna have to hear something, and the noise upstairs is unbearable. So, for this, all you have to do is listen. If you don't know this yet, this is the My Singing Monsters Celestial Island trailer. You have to pay a close listen. Now, what I wanted you to listen to was mainly that last part, but you needed to hear the whole thing for my discussion to actually come through. So, if you don't know this, Vhamp has come out a few days ago. So, what we hear at the end has been speculated to be Vamp's noise since basically the beginning. Kinda sounds like what Vhamp might sound like if it was younger. But now that Vhamp has come out, we know that it plays more of a buzzing noise. So, what we now need to figure out is, where is this flute noise coming from? Or, what is it for? I've come up with 4 theories to kind of answer what or why is this flute noise there. Now, this is going to be in any order, not from like most possible to least possible. I'll tell you how possible it is after each theory. Theory number 1. This is actually Galvana's sound. Now, stay with me. I'm not saying that Galvana is singing like a flute sound, because that does not sound like a song that would make from your mouth. Ooh. It kind of does. It could be her singing, but it's less likely since it sounds more like a flute instrument. So, another thought is that she plays an instrument. Even though she doesn't play one on Starhenge, that does not mean that she never played one. As she was a baby, she might have tried out instruments. She might play like a flute instrument, and that's what the sound is. Or, my second possible theory for this theory is her staff. Her staff as a baby, maybe that made the flute noise, so she could still speak, or sing at least. Because through the trailer, we don't hear any of the other monsters that sing in this. That means that, well, there's no Atmos that sings, there's no Glacier that sings, there's no Plixie, and there's no Galvana. So we don't know whether or not this is her actual singing voice, or maybe it's her staff making the noise, or an entirely new instrument for her. Now, I don't think that this holds up too well because, first of all, there is no monster ever in My Singing Monsters history to play an instrument as they were a child and not play one when they were an adult. And like almost every single possible monster has been as a child. Every natural monster has been as a baby, and we've seen the adult form already. So we know that there is no examples of there being a monster that played an instrument when they were younger, and now they don't, as an adult. It's very unlikely. So the only option would be that this is her voice, and this doesn't sound anything like a voice. Which actually leads me to my theory number 2. It's actually Vamp's noise, and we just haven't heard it yet. So maybe Vhamp has two sounds. One that we hear, which is the buzzing noise, and the second is this pan flute sound. Maybe it could make both sounds, just we haven't heard the second sound yet, and it's only gonna show at the end after Galvana comes out. Like maybe there's gonna be an extra part in the middle, or at the end, or the beginning, most likely at the end, where the Vhamp plays an extra part with Galvana. I mean, like it shows in a lot of other islands, like when the Wordos, that's a good example. Wordos, they don't actually sing their entire song until like the other Wordo came in. So when the first Wordo comes in, it's not very much. When the second Wordo comes in, they basically sing the entire song, with a little few gaps here and there, but maybe it just needs a second monster. Galvana will introduce that second noise from Vhamp. Also another option, like an example, like from the continent at the end, when the Snizer never played that last part until Spoonge was introduced with Riff. But Riff didn't really have anything to do with that. That was all Spoonge. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that odd for the monster to make a different sound. So anyways, Theory 3. It is actually a 13th Celestial. Now, this may be the oddest one yet, but it doesn't have to be a Celestial. It could just be a 13th monster that appears on Celestial Island. But since the Book of Monsters is basically full after Galvana comes in, it would most likely have to be two monsters, like a 13th and 14th monster off to the sides, or maybe in between, because it kind of does look like there's two empty spots left after Galvana comes in. So maybe there is actually two monsters that we haven't seen. That, I mean, it's called Celestial Island because Celestials are there. It was an island before Starhenge crashed. There could have been monsters already inhabiting it. Maybe there's two monsters that are there that we still haven't seen, and one of them plays this flute noise. It would make a lot of sense. So this one is kind of the least likely because of how much it's going against it, since it is called Celestial Island, and I'm pretty sure they would have called it more like something else. Stone Island, maybe, since they're all turned to stone after they crashed. So this is probably the least likely out of the four, which leads me to number 4. It is nothing to do with Celestial Island. It is just an added sound that they made just to make it eerie. It's not actually anything. I mean, let's just take a quick listen to it. Like, every single sound that's heard from this is percussion. Besides this ambiance sound, kind of this, and kind of like these extra sounds here and there. But we hear Furnos. Then here's Glacier. Then about to hear is Tort. And now Syncopite. And that is 4 monsters that we hear. But then, there's this other sound. A wind instrument sound, which is odd. Because the 4 other sounds that we heard were percussion. That being Furnos, Glacier, Tort, and Syncopite. Now, the 8 other monsters that are there are Blossom, Atmos, Pornicle, Vhamp, Galvana, Plixie, Ludwig, and Skeletor. Now, all 8 of those we've almost all seen, except Galvana. So, there's 4 percussionists, excluding Ludwig. He's more of a string percussion instrument, even though he actually does do percussion. But we hear the 4 percussionists, Tort, Furnos, Glacier, and Syncopite. But then there's this 5th sound that's wind. It's a bit out of place. So it could just be that they wanted to add this eerie sound at the end to make it seem scarier or sad for some reason, because it is kind of sad that Starhenge fell and landed onto a deserted island. Maybe deserted. We don't know that yet. But it could just be nothing. So, how do you think my theories hold up? Which do you think was the most convincing? What do you think will happen? Do you think this flute sound is actually Galvana's sound? Or is it Vamp's soon-to-be-discovered sound? Or is it just nothing? Or maybe it's a 13th monster or celestial. Please, tell me what you think in the comments. Oh, and if Galvana's needing every celestial, you better get us doubles, or else you'll not get Galvana. Maybe Galvana is that sound. Get the Galvana, tell me. I already have 2 of almost everything, so when Galvana comes out, I am set. All I need to do is grab all the diamonds, which I'm thinking might be the most amount, probably in like the 180s, 200 maybe. So I would just stack up on as much diamonds as you can to get Galvana, because I'm pretty sure when Galvana comes out, all of the celestials will go on sale. Now, I just gave you a bunch of trivia that's off topic, so tell me, once again, which theory you like the most. What's your theories? Like this video, comment on it, tell me what I should do next, and subscribe. Bye.